Let the galaxy burn.
Hi guys, Skypoint here. The game has a new Warlord in it today, Thaddeus Fayle of the Imperial Army. And in this video I'm just going to show you an example of how Thaddeus Fayle fights. I'm going to start by showing you the fight itself and then show you my deck and talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to focus too much on the deck because I'm still trying to perfect it, and there'll be a full Thaddeus video coming at some point in the future. Alright, but before all that, let's just take a look at Thaddeus Fayle himself. So he's an unaugmented human commander of the Imperial Army, meaning he's got 2 attack and just 30 health, which is on the low side. He has a relentless ability, kind of like Colonel Ornitov, but with Thaddeus Fayle, you get a free infantry if you're outnumbered, whereas with Ornitov, you only get a free infantry if you've got no troops on the board at all. And then the other thing which makes Thaddeus really unique is his energy ability. You spend 1 energy and you can give a friendly troop flank, which lets it do anything at all except attack the enemy warlord. Alright, let's go and see how Thaddeus does against Vulkan. So Vulkan was an interesting matchup for Thaddeus because Vulkan has effectively 45 health. 40 health from being a Primarch and 5 health from Survivor, and of course with his Whisper he can keep regenerating that, whereas Thaddeus only has 30 health. Alright, I wasn't happy much with my starting set of cards. I kept the Time Melt-A-Bomb for doing fancy stuff later, and I kept Burnout Sapper in case vehicles popped up, and I replaced Shield Generator and Markov's Rangers in the hope of getting a different card. So I ended up with Sagittarius Squad and Firewalkers, which are a bit more expensive, but are neat, nice cards themselves. So Vulkan started off by generating a Teaching, which is great because I can't really play much in my first turn and I pass. I don't want to be damaging myself by attacking him, not when I only have 30 health. He played Jubac, which is annoying. Again, it's hard for me really to deal with that, but luckily I drew Last Rifle Section. So I dropped these guys on the board, did 1 point of damage to Jubac, so if the last rifle survive, they can kill him next turn. Vulkan responds by playing Felician 5th Airborne, which Jubac generated out of my deck. Now that's worrying because the Felician 5th Airborne do a whopping 5 damage, and when I only have 26 health left, that can be very painful. Alright, I generated an extra Last Rifle Section from being outnumbered, so that was handy. My Last Rifle Section killed Jubac, and I dropped Sagittarius Squad, who then promptly went and did 2 points of damage to Vulkan. So this is looking pretty okay, although I'm worried about that Felician 5th Airborne. He plays his own Last Rifle Section and destroys the Sagittarius Squad, because if you leave them alive, they're just sitting there pinging you with damage forever. And to my surprise, he did not attack with his Felician 5th Airborne. I think he's saving those in case I play a powerful unit. I tried to kill them with a Mortar Strike, but it misses. Hits Vulkan, which is not bad. But I'm still kind of outnumbered over here now as we go into his 6th energy turn. I mean, he's the same number of units, but his unit is just so much better than mine. So now he plays 2 units. He plays Imperial Infantry, but he also plays Jur Squad, which does 2 damage to 3 targets, which is very dangerous. But now Thaddeus Fayle does what only Thaddeus Fayle can. Watch this. First, I play Time Melt-A-Bomb for 4 energy. For 1 energy, I give it flank, and then for 1 energy, I trigger its special ability, which is deal 4 damage to everyone else on the enemy team, and then die. All of a sudden, the odds start switching in my favor. I actually have another Time Melt-A-Bomb in hand, so I could just repeat this again if I really wanted, but I generally want to save it for when the enemy has lots of units or it's strategically valuable. Alright. So, I'm trying to figure out how I can destroy that 5 health guy in 1 turn. So I shoot him with Last Rifle Section. I drop this Auxiliary, which boosts the attack on the Mortar Section. And now I made a mistake. I gave the Mortar Section flank instead of this guy who I just played, which was really irritating. It's such a noob move by me. Luckily for me, the guy I'm playing against here was not that great himself. He's got this unit which does a whopping 5 points of damage. He can either hit my Warlord with it or my strongest unit with it. But instead, watch what he does. He's freaked out about Nisir's squad for some reason. So he reveals it with his protective frontline tank guy. He gives his units resilience and they go back to hand. And then he attacks Nisir's squad with his 5 attack guy, which felt like overkill. Guess he really had bad experiences with Nisir. Show me on the doll where Nisir touched you. Alright, anyway, that's creepy. Alright, things are getting a bit more stabilized now. I dropped Duke Mortimer over here because he's just downright dangerous, and I play another auxiliary to boost the attack on the Solar Auxiliary enough to take out his guy. So now, this is feeling really good. With Duke Mortimer, I can actually return a troop to hand, which is super dangerous, so he focuses on taking Duke down, which involves hitting Duke, who's a whopping 5 attack guy at this point, with his Warlord, and then using a tactic. Now he plays Gardos, which is normally really dangerous because it's an area damage unit, but it's a vehicle, and I have Bernard Sappers, and I can give them flank. So Bernard Sapper's special ability is when they attack a vehicle, that vehicle dies. Bye bye Gardos. And then I decide to play my Felician 5th Airborne instead of my Firewalkers, which would have used up all my energy, just because I don't have... if I dropped the Firewalkers, I'd buff the units to either side, but neither of them was in a position to attack. So he made his Vulkan extra strong with Dawnbringer, but I can make my people extra strong as well. So I drop one Firewalker and hit him really hard with my buffed units. And then, looking through my options, I decide to drop another Firewalker because I can do 10 damage next turn. He cannot do enough damage to himself now to trigger his Whisper this turn. But what he does do is he puts down some frontline defensive. In fact, one of the best frontline units because it's got Survivor 2, meaning that when I kill it, it just comes right back to life. But now it's time for Thaddeus Fayle to shine again. I've got that second time Melt-A-Bomb, so drop it for 4 energy, give it flank for 1 energy, activate it for 1 energy. Boom! His frontline unit is almost dead, it's got 2 health left, but that's where Delta Omega 42 comes in, because they do 2 points of damage when you deploy them. So his frontline is gone, Vulkan is down to just 5 health as well, and it's time to seal the deal. Boom. Vulkan killed, so 45 points of damage done to his Warlord, only 12 points of damage done to me. Alright, so that's just, that was showing you how Thaddeus plays. Let me show you what my deck currently looks like. So, I'm not going to talk through it in too much detail, just the really critical thing in this deck over here right now is the time Melt-A-Bombs. And everything else I'm still trying to figure out as I go along. So if you have Thaddeus or if you're able to get him soon, you can start by trying something like this. Right now the weakest thing I have in the deck is I don't have enough very cheap cards, which sometimes leaves me struggling to play units. So I'm still trying to play a few more matches to see how it goes. I might end up dropping one or two of my 3 energy or 4 energy units to get down to some 2 energy instead. I just need to see how this deck continues to play out. Alright, so at some point in the future I will be making a proper Thaddeus video where I talk through the entire logic of building a deck and then play a couple of matches, but I'll do that once I have him properly figured out. So until then, have fun guys, see you in the next video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, because you're going to get notified when the next one comes out. Alright, bye for now.